Hello, everyone. This is a kind of funny headline. Trump and EU are reportedly at odds over strategy to end the war in Ukraine. Well, of course they are. EU wants to have a specific strategy, and Trump hasn't got one. It's really as simple as that. Of course, it is impossible to work up a workable strategy because Trump continues pussyfooting with Putin. He keeps giving him deadlines. He keeps saying he's unhappy. He keeps saying he's disappointed, and then what? What good does it do for anyone? And yes, EU, having had more direct experience with Russia, historically understands the importance of the show of strength. That it's not going to be nice. It's not going to be lifting sanctions that would motivate Russia to end this war. Yeah, some of them say that Trump is on their side, but I wouldn't bet on it, guys. He's not on your side. Trump is not on anybody's side. Trump is on Trump's side. And anything he does right now is an attempt to distract American public from the Epstein scandal. You want to know how to put pressure on Russia? Here's an idea for you. Japan had just escalated sanctions against Russia and lowered the oil cap. The sanctions include 47 Russian companies, 9 individuals, and several other entities, all of whom are involved in the invasion of Ukraine. It's also lowering the cap on Russian seaborne crude oil from $60 to $47.60 per barrel, which is consistent with the steps taken by the EU and the UK, as well as Canada and New Zealand. That's how you do it. No muss, no fuss, hit Russia where it hurts in its oil trade. And yes, Japan has been a consistent supporter of Ukraine because you know why? Because it's not friends with China or with North Korea or with Russia, and it has a territorial dispute of its own with Russia. So there is that. Much appreciated. Thanks, guys. Thank you for showing people how to deal with Russia. You want more ideas? Here's another one. There's been another massive drone operation by Ukrainian military. So what have we got? We had a strike in Primorsk, which is Russia's largest oil loading port. That's gonna inflict some pain, since this is the hub for the legendary Russia Shadow Fleet. We talked about the Shadow Fleet and why it's necessary to keep tabs on it. There were multiple fires, and that affected one of the vessels and the pumping station. So all of the oil shipments had to be suspended. That's how you do it. There is also some reports about more drones over Moscow, and I told you before, drones over Moscow are more psychological warfare than anything else. It scares the Russians, it gives them the taste of their own medicine, and it wreaks havoc with their airline traffic. Worth it. Now, this article is on Kyiv Independent website, and I strongly recommend it. I get this commentary a lot. I was sure there is even a war going on. It's a hoax by Democrats, by NATO, by EU, by the UK, by Soros, you name it. It's a long list. And so somebody decided, okay, how about we take some people who carry those convictions that the war in Ukraine is nothing serious and not worth worrying about. How about we show them? One of the goals, of course, was to combat Russian massive propaganda machine. And that is something to be reckoned with. And Ukraine recognizes this, and Ukraine's allies recognize it. Although, of course, Ukraine's allies don't quite fully appreciate it because they're not living the results of that propaganda, and Ukraine does. And so the country chosen as kind of a sample supplier was the Czech Republic. There's a lot of dispute in the Czech Republic as to whether or not the EU should be supporting Ukraine. So a few people from the Czech Republic, from different backgrounds, etc., who were siding with the Russian narrative, were invited to go to Ukraine and see for themselves. And their reaction was filmed and then made into a documentary. One of the greatest frustrations, of course, for people in Ukraine is that they themselves are living the war. So for them, it's not a question whether it's real. They're in it. So because of that, they are immune to a greater extent to Russian propaganda. But, of course, looking from the outside, it's a lot harder to maintain objectivity. And so I think it should be a program. So the documentary has been finished, the reactions have been filmed, and it premiered in cinemas on the anniversary of Soviet invasion of Czechoslovakia in 1968, which ended up prolonging Soviet occupation of it by 20 years. Can you imagine? So I think it would be cool if this became a series, if people could be invited from other opponents of Ukraine, from Bosnia, from Hungary, from China. It would be fun to have some from North Korea, but we know they're not going to be allowed to go. From Slovakia. Or any other individuals who support the Russian rhetoric. It would be fun to see a program where they could be invited to see for themselves. More to come.